Hello, everyone. This is Hiro and Fonzie.
And welcome to the Weekly Shonen Jump, the February 18, 2013 issue.
And we have a nice screenshot of Tatame from One Punch Man putting on his glove as sexually as possible.
Ooh.
Anyways, we got some good mangas for you to start off with today. To start off with, we of course have One Punch Man.
Oh, goody. And so our hero is
Contemplating on his absolute superior
Why did I become a hero? Why am I doing this? Do I have a purpose?
Actually, no, it's just because he gets no spirit out of fighting. And literally has punched every supernatural being into oblivion and has made the
No, I do like the panel page where you just see him go, meh, like, I'm just so bored.
Yep, and in his boredom, he just tries to swat a mosquito.
Which he could not hit.
Again, and again.
And again, and again, and again. And then there's a mosquito queen. Oh, where have I seen this before?
Yeah, but I'm gonna love the panel of him contemplating about the idea of damn mosquito rage. Mosquito rage, it's a thing.
We just made a meme.
Yeah. The news that eventually comes on and tells us that there's a giant mosquito plague coming around the entire area and is coming to City Z. Yeah, I don't name these cities, but it seems to be doing quite a lot of damage, sucking the blood out of every living organism that they can find. In which case they do very violently to some unfortunate shoplifter. And then we, of course, get to see that the very voluptuous mosquito queen, I'm guessing at this point, there is no name, is actually taking in all the blood that they give back. However, she then notices that a lot of her mosquitoes have been killed, and there seems to be quite the ballsy person standing in the middle of the mosquito swarm.
And it is... And it becomes Luke Cage!
Luke Cage, really? Really? We're gonna make a Mortal Kombat reference!
Luke Cage with the eyes of hollow Ichigo.
Yeah, I admit this guy looks cool. I don't even know his name yet because
we're not supposed to know his name yet, I guess.
I'm just gonna call him, talk to the hand man.
Yeah. I guess he sort of he gives her like the Iron Man blaster thing.
Does that mean this is Tony Stark in Japan? Nope. But even while that prolific battle is going on, Tatame can't seem to even kill the fly, which is hilarious. But enough of that.
Next is Naruto, and I gotta say, this was a boring chapter to me because...
It was all basically exposition for it.
Which is why I really don't want to talk about what they were talking about, because really, I just didn't care until the end.
Well, in short, it was just all about explaining in exposition of what a shinobi really is. Why do we fight? Essentially what Andrew was saying about Tatame, except, well, false and wrong chapter.
Tatame, no, brother, put down your finger.
Yep, their presence is as death-defying as the spiritual presence in Bleach, because by just lifting one finger, you cause the entire room to shake.
And I just love the scene where like one of the henchmen is like literally melting.
Yeah, thanks to Suigetsu, unfortunately.
Turn off your ads, man.
Well, it's... There, I have silenced my ads. Are you happy?
Yes! It was annoying me.
Well, that is Suigetsu, because of course he is made of completely water and is freaking the hell out.
But then again... Which I have to admit, that was funny. I have to admit that.
Yeah, but to think about these guys literally in that
Talk about wetting himself. Ha, ha, ha!
Haha, Suigetsu, you are now at the bottom rung. But anyways, they go into every detail about a war still being fought with Madara, and of course,
Minato suddenly feels the presence of his son, who finally actually got the Nine Tails to cooperate with him, and he's actually surprised about it.
Well, then again, who he married was probably not that way of show. Is probably, I mean, come on. She was the Nine Tails holder before. Come on. You gotta think, oh, who's better suited for this? Oh, I think the guy who beat the Ninetales and the one who sealed it. But in any case, we have more exposition talking about of why we should enter the war in the first place and why in the world should we care. We're already dead, we were just brought back to life. Now, of course, Orochimaru contemplates the fact that whether or not he can control them or not, he still needs them to help defeat Madara.
It would actually be awesome if those 4 Hokages actually go in to fight Madara. That would be really cool.
Well, yeah, I'd love to see that battle because, the previous 5 Kages, didn't do jack.
They're so weak.
Yeah. But at the end of the chapter, we get, near to the end of the chapter, we get a nice little flashback of the first ever fight between Madara and Hiroshima. And, of course, this being a gigantic battle involving the Ninetales and the Makutan Jutsu in the form of the Makutan Dragon. And by the way, that's Wood Dragon.
And we can actually see that Madara actually controlled the Ninetales at that time.
Boy, what is with the, Uchiha clan constantly controlling this thing? He's got to be pissed off at this point. Not once, but twice. Twice you have been owned by, singular human beings. But of course, then we get at the last part of the panel is 2 of the Makutan dragons trying to force the Bijudama back into the Ninetales and defeat Madara. However, this battle is now getting serious that Madara has now brought out his ultimate Ususano again.
Yep. And it ends with a cliffhanger.
But we have no time for that cliffhanger. Now we have World Trigger to come up. And by the way, gotta say, best chapter ever.
This chapter was hilarious.
After the little skirmish between Yuma and the neighbor, both Yuma and Mikume, the main person of the story,
or Osamu,
decide to walk casually by and asking whether or not he actually is a neighbor.
And he even says that the neighbor they just attacked are people too.
But of a lower rank, so I guess it's sort of like how hollows work in Hector Mundo and Bleach.
Like I've been telling you from the beginning, this is like Bleach all over again.
Yeah, but then again, the characters don't look the same now, do they? Ha! Ha! Shout out to Tai Kubo being...
It doesn't matter.
But anyways, he starts telling him that he has some sort of mission here and has only been given a few things in order to complete that mission, including his trigger and a wad of cash.
Yeah, he just pulls a wad of cash out of his ass.
I'm not really sure of the Japanese currency in form of yen, but I guess 10,000 yen. I'm not sure how much that is, but he's got 100 of those.
Okay, so 10,000 yen times 100.
Yeah, but what is like yen to America?
That's like 1,000,000 yen, which I guess is like $100,000.
Why do you walk around with $100,000?
Because.
But then again, this gives us claim to, a plot device, because, a bunch of people see the money.
Where a couple guys start lying about their leg being broken, going, "Hey, my leg is broken. Give me money."
Oh yeah, because totally shoving into somebody requires you to have your leg broken. Shove. Oh, my leg is broken.
You pay for broken leg.
Well,
and guess what? He made an honest man out of him.
Well, I guess that whole story is I used to be a thug, but then I took a foot to the knee. I love Skyrim. I love Skyrim.
I don't care.
But anyways, taking down that bully and literally actually giving him some money for it.
Made an honest man out of him. But
then again, we have more bullies to take care of because they also see the money.
Hey, give me your cash. My dad is dying. Okay, and how about I beat you up? Pow, 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 pow.
And probably being defeated in probably the funniest of fashions.
No. Oh, okay. I know you people can't see it, but try to imagine this. Okay, you know how in the cartoony way, when someone gets knocked out, they're on their face and the rest of their body's straight up and their legs are going over him. Try to line them up that way.
Well, they do have a wall next to him, so I guess it works.
So try to imagine that. It's hilarious.
Hey, look, they're a wall quartet. That wasn't funny. But anyways, we have more or less to talk about than then. And just really go off on what Yuma plans to do, but doesn't really know how to go for it. So then I guess he uses Mikume to at least teach him Japanese.
And then he keeps trying to hide the... And then he keeps trying to pull back his tracks, where he said it was a neighbor, and then he takes it back and saying, oh no, I'm completely Japanese.
Yeah, but then again, we wouldn't have this nice scene where they lose themselves in conversation and Yuma gets hit by a car in a very, very detailed way. I'm not kidding. This is pretty.
But no, he's fine and just gives the people who ran into him a whole bunch of money.
Now, seriously, I don't know why he's not called a hollow. The crash barely does anything to him but cracks the side of his face and shows that there's nothing inside of his face. But then again, it just heals up automatically, so whether or not this actually
just a compilation of darkness where no trace of humanity exists.
And then the people go over to help, and he gives them the money for the car damage. Again, and just smiles
away
to the end of the chapter. Jesus Christ!
It just walks away all na 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 na, like everything's all unicorns and rainbows.
But of course, we have no time for that as well. We now have to get to Bleach, and this is chapter 526, The Battle, again and again and again.
Okay, I had to say this is the dullest chapter ever. Like, it's nothing but just utter pretentiousness.
Well, to be honest, people weren't going to expect a lot, especially when it's just two Kenpachis known for sword techniques, not really for, the whole magic stuff. What they end up doing is just slicing through each other, and Kenpachi finally notices that Unohana keeps healing the both of them. But she's had quite enough of this and decides to release her Bankai. And I'm going to say this, Disappointment Row is in fact already been set. She invokes Minazuki, but doesn't tell us what it does. And so she just goes to fight him, I guess, and somewhere along the line they both turn into skeletons.
And Kenpachi opens his mouth so wide, it's funny.
Yeah, well, if he wasn't Kenpachi here, he'd be Pac-Man.
Waka 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 waka.
Yeah, but eventually they get into a final confrontation, which has them both striking at each other, sort of like that, Mexican standoff-like style.
And they do I love fighting. I love fighting, because it's a shonen manga. That's all we do.
This is literally going to go to every fan fiction out there for Kenpachi and Unohana. I swear to God.
If I see any hentai fan art of this, I'm gonna puke.
Well, why would you look for it? Why would you look for this?
I wouldn't look for it. It'll just be there.
You sick bastard.
It'll just be there laughing at me.
But we then end the chapter literally on the very unfortunate note that Unohana has been stabbed through, and it most likely looks like she's going to die. This is unfortunate because she's barely brought anything to the table and only fleshed out a personality just in the last 4 chapters.
And the chapter ends with her saying, "The one man who in this world who brought me joy."
Literally penetrating her. Giggity. But less to do about, fan fiction than Nisekue.
Okay, I have to say, this was a beautiful chapter. I love this chapter. So basically, Michijo is just dashing through on a bike with Chitoge onto the airport. I'm trying to get there to her mom.
And stealing a bike.
Yeah,
thievery. It pays off.
I do not know if it was Chitoge's bike or someone else's bike. But as they rush to the airport, she had to leave. Chitoge's mom had to leave early because of a storm coming. So they had to leave early.
Love, romance. I'm going back to my beer.
And so they actually get to the airport and she's already taken off. No!
Quick, use your cell phone that you've had in your pants the entire time just to call her to tell her to stop.
And yeah, he actually does that. He calls her and tells her to turn around. To turn around, and Ichitoge takes the phone and actually calls her to come back. Aww.
And she
literally turns back over their heads.
Apply the hand brake, you crazy broad!
Apply the hand brake, you crazy broad! And so they finally get back together, and I have to say, I actually teared up a little because it was such a great scene.
You woman.
Shut up. I have a feminine side!
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you over the sound of your vagina. But anyways, we get a cute little scene where it shows them having a nice and wonderful time in the hotel room, eating, drinking, and talking about
Is she even old enough to drink? Who cares, Mom?
Who cares? They're mafia. You don't question the mafia questions you.
And so Hana gives Chikoge her Christmas gift, which is a new ribbon for her hair, but she decides to keep her old one. Keep her old one, which she thought was the one that Hana gave her, but we soon found out that it was actually a ribbon that Ichijo actually gave to her when they were kids. Big reveal. Could this be
love? Well, seeing as how February is ending out, maybe.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, Chitoge takes Nisekoi takes a lot of liberties from Love Hina, where the male protagonist remembers making a promise to a girl that he will marry he'll marry when he grows up, but he just doesn't know which girl, and there are a bunch of other girls. There are a bunch of other girls that could be the one he made a promise to.
In short, male protagonists are stupid not to ask for names.
Well, the thing is, they were 5 years old. He really can't remember who the girl was.
Name. You're 5 years old.
Don't even
ask for a name.
He doesn't even remember the name.
Blah.
Come on, man. I'll be realistic. Okay, do you remember any of your friends when you were 5?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to me being taken down.
And so the chapter ends with Chitoge, lady Nichijou asleep on her lap. Nice. And calls him dummy. Aw, it's love.
Yeah, well, enough with love. Time to get back to eating gluttonously and getting masculine for it. Toriko with... I'm going to say this. Probably the most impressive amounts of elderly people fighting off evil monsters. Seriously, you won't get this anywhere else. We actually go back to the gourmet conflict, which is a bunch of the hybrid monsters from the Byoshokukai going off and trying to steal all the chefs. But of course they decided to get onto Grandma Setsu's bad side. And with her being surrounded by dozens of these creatures, decides...
It started to explode some heads.
Literally. And it seems that her power is using a giant pressure system, which she calls her jumbo pressure cooker. If that's actually a real thing, I'm not completely sure.
And how it works is that in every monster that she comes by... basically skins them alive. Just by looking at them. It's creepy.
From what I can tell, at least, it's sort of like how a microwave works. It takes the heat and micro energy that you get from a microwave and bursts it into the weakest parts of the body.
And how specifically is she doing it? It's chef magic. I don't have to explain it.
Fairies. Friggin' fairies.
Fairy chefs.
But of course, we have more exposition to be told about how the intimidation she gives off is also a way to amplify her jumbo pressure cooker. Yep, which she does in fact skin most of the creatures alive. If it weren't for the idea that also the former chef Chio was not there as well, and we know her from past chapters. as the lady who nearly killed one of the food honor recipients.
She's crazy.
Oh, she's crazy.
I think she's off her meds.
Well, I think every elderly person at this point is off their meds.
Because she has no nose. She's like an elderly woman Krillin.
Okay, well, yeah, Krillin doesn't have a nose. Do you question it? Nope. If he wouldn't question it, I would.
Team 4-star joke.
But before they can, continue with their bout, we notice that some of the highly ranked and appreciated members of the Gourmet Society seem to, in fact, be going to reveal some sort of trump card. Of what it is, we're not sure, but we do seem to notice that one of the people who was responsible for the Century Soup arc is also a part of this. Then we get back to the fight with, unfortunately, noticing that a chef has actually been killed this time with a spear, no less.
And it's a pretty gruesome scene.
Yes, but what's more gruesome is what Yuta of the Millimeter finds is responsible for it. And what we have is the friggin' Nitro. This creature is responsible for being at the middle of several legends in the entire gourmet world, and they captured 3 of them. They captured 3 Nitros. Basically, for those of you who haven't read Toriko before and have yet to get to it, spoiler warnings here, is that the Nitro is actually a creature that was after the GT robots, which is why those GT robots look like the Nitro. But the Nitro are considered to be the sort of cavemen or first generated creature that had thought and feelings, just like a human. For us, it would be like Homo erectus, and the
and all that evolution stuff.
Yeah, Africanus and all that. Nitro is basically like one of the first creatures to ever be born, but genetically enhanced to godly levels. These things are monsters that could down the BB corn without any effort.
I guess we could also compare him to Caesar from Rise of the Planet of the Apes. He's like the first one to have like super advanced thought and be the first to speak.
Yeah, so we leave off at that, and knowing that it even took Toriko a huge amount of effort to even fend off a single Nitro, along with Grinpatch. This is gonna be really bad, I can tell. And of course, we have yet to talk about any of that. And of course, there's another cross-match chapter, and if anybody has any sort of care to it, it's a lot about love again, of course. But we have no more time for that love bullshit and lacrosse. Let's get back to the backbone of all shonen manga, Dragon Ball Z. Raditz.
and Raditz just literally kicks Goku in the stomach. Okay, we all know this story. Let's just skip it. The point is, the cover is awesome.
You're my brother. Don't take my kid. I'll take your kid. He took my kid. Took my kid. Exposition. More exposition. And
you're an alien. I'm an alien.
Yes, of course. We have Team 4-Star to thank for that. Go to their channel. Please subscribe. But, of course, that is the end of this particular review for the Shonen. However, we do have to introduce the fact that for the next issue will be another chapter of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, because nothing says entertainment like friggin' card games.
And One Piece will come back. Hooray!
Oh, come on. It's Flamingo. It's still friggin' Flamingo.
And now we get the Fairy Tail number 320, Violent Thunder.
Already, it seems that it showed the roster of the Fairy Tail, Lamia Scale, and Sabretooth members, which Fairy Tail has still all 5. Lamia Scale has 3, and Sabretooth has 3. However, we do get a little bit of a recap for everybody involved in the area, with Sting looking as miserable as usual.
And it's really building up to the liar reveal of who's lying. the princess or the future Lucy.
Yeah, but before that, we have to have Minerva being a bitch as usual, taking, of course, the full advantage that Urza's leg is hurt, and uses that leg to literally fling her into a pillar. Bitch award. But, of course, we get into the nice little fun fight between Lamia Scale and Fairy Tails.
Ice make shotgun!
With Juvia and Gray fighting on the Fairy Tail side, and of course, Leon fighting on the side for Lamia Scale. However, of course, Leon decides to be a complete moron and thinks, "How dare you attack us with Juvia's attacks? They're on the same team, you dumbass!" But then again, he wouldn't be an awesome character if he wasn't a complete dumbass. I like reading about dumbasses. Have I said that word too often now? Don't care.
Because dumbasses are funny. And then...
Don't care. We have awesome to view.
And then comes to the battle between
Orga.
Orga,
Luxus, and Jura.
In a three-way fight
Between manly men.
But Psych Hitler.
Yep. Charge particle cannon of the god of thunder. Yeah, nice naming. And one entire page panel. Jura just sort of, didn't use any magic and just sort of flung him half the way and broke a building in a circle fashion.
Again, Psych Hitler. Yeah. I guess this is kind of Hiroshima's
way of saying, yeah, you were a character to be noticed, but now you're just a character to be made as a convenience to make another character look good.
So yeah, now the fight is between Luxus and what was his name again? Jura?
Yeah, Luxus and Jura. However, before that, I would at least like to make mention to one thing, and that would be the artist's way of foreshadowing. Now, I gotta say this. I didn't think there were going to be any more characters that would need to be foreshadowed upon, but after hearing that Jura is, in fact, one of the 10 Wizard Saints, his master of Lamia Scale decides to inform everybody about the other 4 remaining saints, known as the 4 Gods of Ishval, and making a very weird statement saying that they're not human, making it appear that Jura's the only one who's human. What are these guys? This is the part why I like his writing, because he makes people apparent by silhouetting them, giving them titles, and making them known so that whenever their name pops up or ever being introduced as such, gives you this huge amount of excitement because you just want to know who these people are. But enough of my fangasming. We have a fight to continue with.
And the fight is actually good. I think this is going to be a really good fight between Jura and Luxus.
Yeah, and being that the first fight starts with Luxus getting his entire body put down by a karate chop when he was charged with lightning, and makes you think that, battle's over, but of course that's never going to be the case. This is Luxus with an electric uppercut, as Hero just made it aware, as now we're going to get into quite the battle. This is actually the only the second time to ever happen to Jura, not even during the battle with Jalal. The only time that he's ever been hurt by anybody was...
that fight was kind of sad, to be honest. That fight was sad.
Well, I'm actually referring to a past one, and of course, spoiler alerts for anybody who hasn't gotten this far in Fairy Tail, is the Orcheon Cess arc, which involves Brain being actually defeated by Jura, but realizing that Brain is not the true leader of Orcheon Cess, Zero is. And Zero hands Jura down like nobody else's business. So beforehand, Jura didn't exactly seem like much, but being seen how of a major character he is so far, being hit a second time by somebody is pretty prevalent. So I'm hoping that this battle lasts quite some time. But of course, today is a special day, aside from manga. Today is the night of the Oscars, so why not give the Oscars to the Shonen Jump?
Yep, so yes, we have our first nominations for best writer, and we have Hiro Mishima, Naoshi Komi, and Masashi Kishimoto.
Would you like to write down which ones they are responsible for?
Okay, Hiro Mishima he writes for Fairy Tail. Naoshi Komi writes Nisekoi, and Masashi Kishimoto does Naruto. And the winner is...
Next time we're hiring Stephen Colbert to do the announcing, you stink at this. And the winner is...
Hiro Mishima!
Please come to take your award. Psych, you get nothing. The next nominees and the next...
And the next nomination is for Best Artist. We have Hiro Mishima, clap, 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 clap. Masashi Kishimoto, and Ichiro Oda, who does One Piece.
This is when Americans decide to pronounce Japanese names. We're not good at this. And the winner is... the guy who can make a triangle the most fearsome shape in the entire franchise. Ichiro Oda, come to get your award. It's in the One Piece. It's in the One Piece. Go and find it. If you ever decide to tell us where.
And the nomination for Best Hero, we have Naruto Uzumaki, Natsu Dragneo, and Monkey D. Luffy. And the winner is...
And, of course, because we decided to, have all three of them as major hotheads who think nothing of, strategic battle and just go flying into the battlefield, we had to do who's best at it. And... Well, this is pretty much easy. Natsu Dragneel! Come to get your prize. It is another batch of fire.
And now the nomination for Best Heroine, we have Urza Scarlet, Uchitoge from the Nisekoi, and Nami from One Piece. And yeah, this is pretty obvious. It goes to Urza.
Well, actually, I was going to say who had the best boobs.
They both had the best boobs.
Damn it.
They all had the best boobs. And now the nomination for Best Villain. We have Madara from Naruto, Doflamingo from One Piece, and
Minerva from Fairy Tail.
And the winner is...
Madara. The only person who could throw meteorites down like it's nothing. Take that, Sephiroth.
And now the nomination for Manga of the Year.
We have Fairy Tail,
One Piece, and Naruto.
And the winner is... Fairy Tail!
Yay!
A little bit about this is that, to both of us, is that it has to do with both character development and story writing.
Most of the reason why I like Fairy Tail so much is because it's very rare to see comic or manga that actually has very well written female characters. You hardly ever see it.
Battle mangas usually focused on fighting.
Yeah, and all the fighting mangas, are surrounded by men.
Yeah, so having it like that, she joins the same, upper class of great feminine heroes, especially, from Lightning from Final Fantasy 13 and, Alice from No More Heroes 2, is just having a good character development for females, making them just as prolific as men.
And
the other being is that the writing for the entire arc thus far, there really was absolutely no way I could have told or foreshadowed any of the events so far. I could tell you that the events of certain characters of who would be fighting who, but of how the entire story flows, wouldn't have any real idea of how that actually would work. In short, I was pretty much surprised at every other chapter. And that's something that I believe that this writer and artist would consider to be his magnum opus, because staying on your toes consistently through each chapter and just waiting for the next one, knowing that all of your theories just have been botched, is very, very good writing in my terms. It keeps you on your seat.
And so this ends our episode of Weekly Shonen Jump. So until next time, we're signing out.
This is Hiro and Fonzie signing out.